With a population just below 20,000 people, Mountain Home is far from being one of Idaho's smallest cities. But it is small enough to feel the impact of a community in pain. After two students in the military town died by suicide, parents and students tried to address the stigma that is usually barnacled to the topic of mental health. They acknowledged having those conversations are hard, but they need to be happening more often, which is why they formed a group to do that. Espen Schumpert was able to attend one of their get-togethers where bridging that generational gap and hearing might lead to healing.
We have too many suicides and no, too many. One is too many.
In the city of Mountain Home, community members are working toward change.
There's no perfect way to figure out how to work with bullying and suicide. If there were, we wouldn't have it.
Rod Dudley says a need for more resources and conversations about suicide and bullying has been needed for years.
The community of you going out into the community will lead us to more conversation.
Dudley lost his own daughter, Megan, to suicide about 11 years ago.
I like to keep her alive, not only in my heart, but to other people.
Back in October, a 13-year-old student at Mountain Home Junior High named Nick died by suicide.
Nobody, especially a child, should ever have to feel like there is no way out except death.
I'd rather lose everything over and over than lose my child. He was my first. He made me mom. He taught me how to be a better mom.
His mother, Sunny Flowers, says Nick struggled with his mental health for years and was often a victim of bullying.
For Nick, I ended up having to get him into therapy almost twice a week. It's like crying every day. Constant texts. I have so many texts, Mom. The food, it's hurting my stomach. I'm throwing up. Can you come pick me up from school? Can you come get me?
Flowers says Nick eventually stopped talking about the bullying or telling his parents who was involved.
If school would have been less scary, I just know he would have flourished. But peers getting away with what they do ruins it for not just my son. I can only imagine how many other children feel this alone.
When we spoke to her just days after Nick's passing, she began calling for change.
I'm just looking for better mental health care for the children in our school district. I want available assistance to be there for the children who feel like no one's hearing them. We'll deal with it. And that is a common phrase. I want more than we'll deal with it.
At Nick's funeral, hundreds of people showed up wearing orange anti-bullying shirts. For Dudley, who was in the crowd, it sparked an idea for a new group.
There's a gap between city officials and school officials, and that gap is the parents in between. So bridging the gap, although it's a very common phrase, we're bridging the gap between all of those aspects.
Since November, Bridging the Gap Support Group has been a space for parents, students, and school officials to be all in the same room and share how they feel.
It was like, okay, something has to be done. Starting a conversation, continuing the conversation, talk about the hard things.
In January, a second student died by suicide, prompting students at the high school to wear green for mental health awareness, further cementing the want for more resources.
It's very clear that people have been wanting change.
Laura Falk is an Idaho mental health counselor in both Boise and Mountain Home.
I feel like it's so different up here in Boise that, people are very open to talk about it and we normalize it. And so, maybe Mountain Home has a little catching up to do.
But this year, she's started to see a shift.
There's always been a stigma. And so people are now leaning into it and they're getting curious and they're asking questions and they're trying to learn more, which is such a healthy step to take because when we know better, we can do better.
Each Bridging the Gap meeting, which is held every other month, Dudley tries to bring in motivational or informational speakers like Randy Lucas, a counselor at Richard McKenna Charter School in Mountain Home.
Prevention is probably the secret ingredient to trying to help us stop this tragedy that's happened.
Casey Mann, a senior at Mountain Home High School, and Jacob Jameson, a senior at Richard McKenna, attended the most recent Bridging the Gap meeting in August, and they say they're glad to see more resources popping up.
Within the town, back when that suicide happened in October, it was a big kind of push that we really need start talking about mental health more openly.
They hope as the group continues to meet, it will bring people together, open conversations, and help shine an importance of people being aware of their actions.
Their actions, their words, what they do can hurt others mentally and physically.
For Dudley, he hopes Bridging the Gap is just the start for change.
If you don't sweep it under the rug, then it's going to be exposed and things can change.
After October, students in the Mountain Home School District also started their own initiative to create more awareness around teen mental health called You Are More. The next Bridging the Gap meeting is next month on October 11th. We'll have more information on where you can find all of that on our website at ktb.com. But the group has had some school officials in the room before.
Okay.
This next upcoming meeting, they're hoping to get maybe the principal at the junior high, some of the counselors at the junior high. Again, this group has been about going on for a year.
Okay.
Every other month. So really only met 6 times still creating those conversations and still opening opportunities for that to happen.
I couldn't help but notice that the Mountain Home School District was not part of
Yeah.
this story, and the mother mentioned it, that she was been told many times, we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
What have they been saying about this?
As you saw, this has kind of been something we've been working on for a year, and it's been hard to communicate with them and get answers. I know after the first initial suicide in October, there were some more support in place, and again in January after that. But large-term initiatives, we really haven't been able to get answers or to see what they're doing.
As he mentioned, bridging the gap, not just between the parents and the kids, but
Yeah.
the parents, the kids, and the
Yeah.
school district. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you very much, Aspen. We'll see how this plays out. Well, if you or someone you know is in need of help, you can reach out. So please do so. Call or text the number 988. That is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Help is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.